Alright guys, today we're going to be rebuilding the top end on the crf70. Before we get into it, I'm not doing the head or the valve seals or anything. I'm only doing the piston and the rings really, and the cylinder. Alright, the first thing you got to do is take off your skid plate if you have one. Some don't, some do have them, I don't know. It's 2 bolts on the bottom. Pretty sure you can see it right here. 1 and then 2. And then you got, well, I had to cut this one right here to get it on here. It's my cousin's bike. But you might have another one on the side, but you got a 10mm right here. And then that just pops right off. And then on the carburetor, take this 8mm off, and there's one on the other side. And that's really it for the carburetor. You might take the gas line off and the throttle line off if you want to pop it off. But yeah. You gotta take your exhaust off. That's 2 10mm bolt nuts. And then you shouldn't have to loosen it, but you might have to pop off your side panel and then take out the one back here. But you most likely won't have to do that. You might just have to pop it loose right here. And then obviously take your spark plug cap off. You don't have to take your spark plug out, but boy, it don't matter honestly. Now that you got everything off, carburetor, skid plate, exhaust, now what I like to do is drain the oil, and it's going to be this one right here. This is the main one you're going to take out. Do not take out this one. You will have a spring pop out on you. Alright, so it is a 17mm socket. I already broke it loose. You might want to get your oil pan. Yep. It barely even fits under, but I don't think it does fit under. Alright, now you got all your oil drained out. Put your bolt back in, tighten it down so you don't gotta do it later. And then I'm gonna put this bike on a stand. The only reason why I did not have it on a stand earlier is because you obviously have to take off the skid plate. You need to take them 2 bolts out and the exhaust. And then, yep. Alright, we got it on the stand. You take these 4 bolts off. You got your timing chain, cover, bolt right here. I'm gonna show you on a speed clip, but yeah, you take that out, these 4, and then yeah, I'll show you them. Oh yeah, whenever you take this off, you're gonna have oil leaking out of here. You might need to get a new gasket. Alright, so we got this off. It actually did not leak no oil. A drop or 2. That's from the cover that fell off. Yep, and then you take these 4 off, and I'll show you then. Alright, so in this bottom left corner, you have a copper washer. Make sure it goes back on here. Whenever you put it back, on the left bottom. And, yep. And then you gotta take the stator cover off, put it in time. Alright, so I cannot get this cover off, so it's coming off with the bike. I don't really care. It doesn't really matter. But now on your flywheel, you're looking for this T. You have an F and a T. You want the T to be lined up with this little mark right here. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, right there. So, right there. Yep. I don't know if you can see it or not. And then you should have... Wait, so you have this dot right here. I have to go another rotation around for it to be lined up. So I got it lined back up, and then you got the dot right here. And that dot should be lined up right here. And then whenever you have them lined up, it's really easy. Well, not really, I guess. it doesn't really matter, but that is what I'm doing to make it easier for me. So I got it down. The dot is still there. And you take your bolts out. And don't mind this. It makes it easier. I had it like that, but yeah. I can take this off right here. You can feel everything under the water. Mine is like stuck on there. So after you got them off, you should be able to just pull it off. Just like that. I did not take my front tire off. You can, but it shouldn't really matter. See, I just got mine off just like that. I'm gonna set that right there. It don't look too bad, just a lot of carbon buildup. Set that down. Cylinder does not look bad at all. That I'm looking at. Slide your head gasket off. The only reason why we're changing this, still smoking pretty bad. Throw that over there. Now you gotta take your timing chain slider, I believe it's called. It's just this little 10mm. Take that off, and then this. So I'm gonna be 100% honest. It's fell right down in there. You can see it. Took a bolt out. It's right there. Now you just take this one Phillips off, or 10mm, don't matter. Just pull that out. Alright, so we got a new piston. Your white one goes on top. Black one goes in the middle. Your oil ring. You put the wavy one on first, if I'm not wrong. And then you have two thin ones. You put the thin one on one side, and then the other thin one on the other side. So you got 1, 2, 3, and then them two. It's really easy. And then your C-clips, or whatever you want to call them. I'm going to put one in the piston right now, so you have a less chance of, you know, it flying into your crankcase. And I got my gloves on now, if you can't tell. But yep. Alright, so we got one clip in. Make sure you have it in there, all the way around. Even if you have to spin it, you have to have it in there all the way, or it's going to fly out and ruin your cylinder and everything. And oil everything that you're putting in. Every little thing. Your wristband. Yeah, wristband. And your G-clips, I guess that's what you call them. Other thing. You have an intake mark on the inside of there, on the top. You see it? So your cylinder goes on like this. The intake, the IN stands for intake, obviously. You have to have that facing up. So it goes on like this onto the bike. And then the intake, you have your carburetor setting up. So make sure that's on there right. And that's how I'm going to put it on, just like this. I'm going to attempt to. If not, we'll figure it out. But yep. Alright, and don't forget your dowel pins and your gasket. You have also your O-ring right there. I just set it right there. Now I'm going to put the cylinder on and slide that wrist pin in there. And then throw the clip on. This back on. All I did is slide it on, put the gasket on. Put your chain roller back on. All I do is line it up, put your bolt back in, make sure it spins freely and all that. Alright, so put your O-ring, your head gasket back on. Alright, so I found my dowel pins. I haven't put the third one in yet. Yeah. So anyways, you slide it on here. You got it lined up and all that. So I'll just set the head on. I just put this bolt on here and the nuts on. Remember, you have a copper nut, washer that goes right here on the left bottom. So you got them on there. I haven't tightened nothing down. So you torque these down to 6.5 foot-pounds. That seems a little bit low, but that's what it says on Google. And 6.5 on there also, so that is pretty low, so I don't really know. Alright, so this is what it's supposed to look like. You got your teeth. I ripped my glove, can't tell. Right there, lined up with the line. the dot is lined up perfect. That's all you gotta do. It is really easy. So these bolts are 4 to 7 foot-pounds. Alright, so we got the timing chain cover on. All you do is slide that, you just set it on there, put that one bolt in, that one right there. I never took spark plug out, so I just put the boot back on. And I throw the exhaust on, which is the 2 bolts, one right there, one on this side, and then that bolt. And now I'm moving to the skid plate, which is 2 under it by the pegs. That one or that one, and then on the right side, stuff for that. I called it a plastic washer, kind of a gasket. Yeah, there was water in the gas, so you know. I don't know how it was running. It was not running the best. It was smoking like a train. A diesel, not black though. That'd be bad if a diesel was smoking black. Well, not black, I meant white. I think I said the right, but yeah. Kind of sucks. It's a small fuel line. I don't know why it's that small. I'm probably gonna take this apart like right now so I can clean it. As soon as we had water in the gas, probably plugged it. So yep. We got it all put back together. The carburetor's on, fuel line's on. Put new gas in it. Had water in it. Got the side cover on. Now all we got to do is put oil in. It takes 600 liters, I want to say. I'm not really for sure. But yeah, you know, milk, yeah. But I'm gonna pour this in and see how long it takes to start. We got all the oil in it. All we gotta do is put the gasket back on, and she's ready to fire up. And you can't tell. It's pretty hard to tell oil, like in there without a funnel. Kind of spilt some. Gotta add more. All right, I'll see how many kicks it takes. We got everything on, oil in, gas on, everything back together right, hopefully. I'm praying on it. It's not really. I know it's back together right, but alright. So it actually fired up second kick. It died because I got to tune this carburetor. My uncle, it's my cousin's bike. He said he messed with the carburetor. I don't really know if he put it back right, but I'm gonna look up the specs on the carburetor and tune that, and then yep, hopefully I get it running right. Yeah, that's not leaking, by the way, and I just rolled it through the oil. I'm done. All right, so we got it running pretty good. It was smoking bad still, but it's because I put way too much oil after I spilled that on the ground. I figured that out because I took it on a ride. I know I'm supposed to do heat cycles. And I know I skipped a couple of things in the video, like valve adjustments and clearance and all that, but I didn't really want to mess with it. It's really easy to do. You can look at another tutorial. It's still smoking a little bit. But another thing is the carb. You can kind of hear it. I need to adjust it a little bit more. But other than that, I guess that's how you rebuild a crf70.